Whether we like it or not, discipline makes us better. Think about back when you were growing up. You might step out of line, you might do something wrong, and there was a punishment for it. There was a consequence for your disobedience. There's a consequence for your wrong action. And this discipline that we received for this wrong taught us where a boundary was at. Oh, we don't speak that way to our mother or father. When they say do this or do that, we don't do the opposite. When they say be home by dinner time, it means be home by dinner time. And for each of those responses, for each of those actions, there was an appropriate and helpful piece of discipline that taught us what was right and what was wrong. The discipline helps us to be better. We were disciplined for our wrongs. But discipline takes other forms as well, right? I mean, maybe you were an athlete, maybe you were a musician, maybe you were an artist, maybe there's something that you did, there's a hobby, and when you started out, you weren't real good at it. You know, you had trouble catching the ball, you couldn't play the right notes, you couldn't draw a straight line. And sometimes this brings about frustration. I can't accomplish what I need to accomplish to achieve a certain level of expertise. And so what did we do? We practiced. We worked on catching the ball, on playing the right notes. We worked on our scales. We worked on singing the right notes, on drawing certain things. We worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And the time we put in was a discipline. Did we always want to go and work? Did we always want to practice? Did we always want to go through those steps? No. Sometimes we would rather go play. Sometimes we would rather go and do this. Sometimes we just wanted to sit in front of a TV and watch a show. And oftentimes we did that. But if we wanted to get better at whatever we wanted to get better at, we had to discipline ourselves to put in the work so that we could achieve what we wanted to achieve. Discipline always makes us better. Maybe it was just life in general. Maybe there's just certain things in life that you a bad habit that you wanted to remove. Maybe there's a good habit that you wanted to add. And you realize that habits don't come easy. Habits don't just make themselves. In fact, we have to put in the work time and time again to do that. Even being undisciplined and having bad habits is itself a discipline. And so we need discipline in general makes us who we are. And when we choose the right disciplines, when we choose the right habits, those disciplines make us better. And so why wouldn't the same be true in holiness? Why would the same be true in our spiritual walk as well? If it's the more and more I see, if it's true in the physical world, it's going to also be true in the spiritual realm as well. That's why when we looked at Hebrews this week, we saw the writer write these words. The writer wrote, "Endure hardship as discipline." God is treating you as His children. For what children are not disciplined by their father? Like a father looks after his children. He disciplines them so that they do what is right, so they will grow, so they will be better than they once were. He continues on. He says, if you're not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you're not legitimate. You're not a true son and daughter. Moreover, we had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. So how much more should we submit to the Father of spirits and live? So if we respected our earthly fathers, our earthly parents, for disciplining us so that we can be better citizens, better people, so we can grow and achieve a certain level of human success, how much more should we submit ourselves to God? How much more should we give ourselves to Him and come under His discipline so that we can achieve holiness? So we can submit ourselves to Him and live. So our human fathers, our earthly fathers, disciplined us for a while as they thought best. Sometimes they got it wrong. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes that correction may have been too much. Sometimes it may have been not enough. Sometimes it may have been at the wrong time or for the wrong thing. But God, who is perfect, He doesn't just discipline us as He sees best. He disciplines us for holiness. So He writes here, He says, our earthly fathers disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good in order that we might share in His holiness. It says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. But later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. So if our earthly disciplines brings about earthly character, earthly abilities, physical traits that are of some value, but holiness is of greater value. So if our earthly discipline brings about these things that are of some value, how much more should we give ourselves to God's discipline so that His holiness can be born up in us, so we can produce a harvest of righteousness? If physical discipline and physical training is of some value, how much more so training in the way of holiness? That God would discipline us for our good, so we can share in His holiness, and in that produce a harvest of righteousness that will be for our good and for God's glory, that will help make Jesus known, that will advance God's kingdom and help advance the gospel into the lives of those around us. So as we grow in holiness, we can help others come to know Jesus as well. This week, let us become a disciplined people. People who are disciplining themselves in the way of Jesus. And as we grow in the way of Jesus, may His glory be revealed in us and through us until the whole world knows who He is.